We are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our July edition of Lunchtime Learning, where today we'll be talking about coaching, professional development coaching, and consulting. What is it and why do we need it? As always, I appreciate you for joining in the lunchtime learnings. Next time, bring a friend. There's always something that we can learn or that we can share for others. We like to have these during the lunchtime hour, 30 minutes, so that it doesn't take too much time out of your day, but you're still able to have some type of professional development enrichment at least once a month. Today's professional development topic, though, is not really a session on a particular skill set development, but it's about the entire field of coaching. I get several questions via email, via phone, or even people just asking me, well, what is it that you do, Marquita? And when I say that I am not only a consultant, but I do professional development consulting and coaching, people sometimes give you that deer in the headlights stare, like, what is that? It can be referred to as executive coaching. It can be referred to, most people probably hear or see a lot of the life coaching, business coaching. All of those are types of coaching. I just work in a field of professional development coaching. So before we get started, given a time for a few more people to come in and join. And if you are joining on the rebroadcast, thank you for joining in. And you can always share the link of others who may be learning about or want to learn about consulting, professional development consulting and coaching. So this is live. You're listening to it live now. I don't do any editing because one of the things that I wanted to make this lunchtime learning be is very informal and people are comfortable. So there will be mistakes, there will be bloops and blunders, but there will be no editing. What you see for the live version is what you see for the rebroadcast. I'll tell you a little bit about me. As you can see across the screen, my name is Marquita Qualls, and I am the founder and senior managing partner of Entropia Consulting, which is a small management consulting firm whose focus is on leadership development. So I do consulting projects, strategy development, anything that helps you, your team, your organization, those things that you need to become better leaders. That's what I will focus on. I focus on being epic. Entropia is epic, and we focus on 5 key competencies. Epic being entrepreneurial thinking or the entrepreneurial mindset. We focus on professional flexibility and adaptability. Intrapersonal awareness. Who are you? What is your style? What makes you tick? What motivates you? What demotivates you? We also focus on interpersonal interactions. How do you relate to others? And then we talk about cultural competencies. So that's diversity, it's ethics. It's all about being aware of your surroundings, of your environment, and how that influences you being the leader that you are or aspire to be. I am a chemist by training. I focus, most of my clients are in the science or this, what people have coined the STEM field. So whether they're graduate students, postdocs, early to mid career professionals, all up to senior level executives. Those are, that's my base, my client base typically tend to be in those areas, although I work with anyone who wants to develop their leadership and professional development skills. Because I am a chemist or because I am a scientist by training, it helps me to better relate to that particular audience. But again, I work with all clients or anyone who wants to improve or enhance their professional development skills. I worked in industry for several years, so that gave me a wide variety of experiences, not just from my technical skill set of the science background, but also in the management and leadership. And after a while of doing this and learning or seeing the science side as well as the business side, it just kind of hit me that, I want to do something else. I want to do something different. And so I started the consulting firm. And then 3 or 4 years into the consulting firm, I added on the services of the professional development consulting or coaching, which is what is more commonly referred to. And I'll talk a little bit later about some of the differences between coaching and the professional development consulting. I have always wanted to help people, and I help people day in or day out. And so it just made sense that, hey, I can add this service on for those who need that one-on-one attention of coaching or professional development consulting. And so what we'll talk about today is we'll talk about what is coaching. We'll talk about who needs a coach, or do you really need a coach? How do you know that you need one or when you need one? We'll talk about how coaching or professional development consulting can actually benefit you. And then we'll get into some of the specifics of how do you find a coach, how much does coaching costs, what's the process, and the steps in choosing the coach, those types of things. So again, today's webinar, I hope you stay with us here, but today's webinar isn't a specific skill set webinar on professional development, but it's really about the field of what it is that I and my colleagues in this space do and how we can help you. So let's get started. Again, I told you a little bit about myself, a chemist by training, turned into a leadership development strategist, professional development consultant. It's a lot of fun. And again, that's another area that I coach people in. How do you transfer? How do you transition from one field to the next if you were formerly trained in one area, but your passion is in another area? Those are some of the things that coaching can help you do, or consulting can help you do. But if we want to get into some more formal definitions and we think about coaching, coaching is setting goals and achieving the results and having someone to help you and hold you accountable in doing so. Coaching is those direct discussions that you have with someone in guided activities that result in you identifying or maximizing your personal potential. So that's where I really want you to focus in the coaching or professional development consulting aspect of the process is it's very direct. It's one-on-one, it's personal. So not only are you having the discussions, because sometimes that is all it would take, just a discussion, but other times there will have to be guided activities that you will do in order to help you reach your goal or fill that gap. Several types of coaches. Just to reiterate, there are several types of coaches, and you have to decide, or you have to pick the right coach for you. So you have life coaches, you have business coaches, you have career coaches, you have professional development coaches, skills based coaches, technical skills, soft skills. Some people like to lump them all together and say, oh, I'm a life coach, so I can do everything. I can talk about your career, I can talk about your business. But then you have those people like myself, niche markets, who specialize in an area of, I do leadership development, professional development consulting. Career is a part of that. So we definitely dig into that when you talk about someone who is a professional development or career coach. They typically are dealing with the same things, but to limit someone to a career coach, or those people that focus on career coaching, that's their particular area of interest. They work on finding a career. And sometimes they may be able to identify and focus on some of your professional development skills that you need to work on to help you get a career. Other times it's specifically that I work on your career, I work on trying to find you a job. Coaching is often interchanged with mentoring. And while a mentor can coach you or provide some coaching, and a coach does give mentoring, they are actually separate entities or separate functions. Some people are able to service both, other people are not. And I think it's important that we really understand the difference between a coach and the difference between a mentor. Mentoring is giving that feedback, it's giving the support, giving back and paying it forward. It is taking their time and working with someone. Sometimes you have formal mentoring relationships, other times you don't. One of the key things to remember about mentoring, though, is that it's very volunteer, on a volunteer basis when you're saying, oh, I need a mentor or I need some mentoring. With coaching, however, coaching is really more directed again and one on one approach. It's active. If I am your coach, I'm dedicated to you. You are what I work on. You are my first and foremost priority. Because number one, we will have a contract agreement. Number two, you're paying for it. And you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of your resources, your investment. As a mentor, while we always have the best of intentions as mentors to always be there for our mentees and always make the appointments and never have to cancel, it's really more informal. And so the mentor has other things on their plates. They're doing mentoring as an extra part of their job, per se. And so if you had to balance things or prioritize things out, your job is here, and then my mentoring is here. That's not to say that mentors are not dedicated or not committed. It's just to say that when you have a dedicated coach, you have someone that is one on one with you. That is their job. You are their primary concern. There is no other job that your coach should be having other than you. And when that happens, when you have that dedicated one on one relationship, you typically see faster results. You typically are able to see more results than you do when you have your only mentoring relationship. But again, this is not an absolute. Some mentors are phenomenal and can have very similar results as someone that has a one on one dedicated coach. It depends on the purpose, but when I'm speaking here, these are general terms where when you compare coaching and mentoring, this is typically what happens. The coach, the one on one dedicated, you're able to like I say, have that attention, have that one-on-one attention with your coach versus that of the mentoring. How do you know you need a coach? How do you know that a coach is something that you need? Is it something that you wake up one morning and just say, hey, you know what? I think I need a professional development coach, or I think I need some coaching. Let me say this. Don't let your pride get in the way of you getting help and asking for help. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing something. It doesn't matter what level you are in your organization. You can just be starting out, or you can be the most senior person or seasoned person in that role. Everyone can utilize coaching. None of us are perfect, and we can always be better. We desire to be better. We want to take that next step in being better, and coaching can help in that aspect. If you have a desire to improve some area of your professional life, get a coach. Sometimes you don't know exactly what it is that you need help, and even having a conversation with someone, with your coach, can help you identify those areas that you want to improve upon. It may be something that people have always given you feedback on, but until you put voice, or till you speak it, or till you share it with someone else who's able to analyze what you're saying and package it and send it back to you in such a way to say, hey, you know what? That is what I struggle with. And that is something that I would like to work and improve upon. You might need a coach if you are seeking some accountability or objectivity. In today's world, there's so much going on where it's easy for things to slip. It's easy to get overwhelmed and let things fall by the wayside. But when you have a coach and you're meeting with your coach on a regular basis, those things tend to happen less frequently because your coach will hold you accountable. It can be for a long term project or a long term engagement, or it can be short term. So let's say, for instance, you have a project that you're working on and you know you really need to get it done. You need to know what are some of the best strategies that I can use to get this done, but also, can you help me and hold me accountable for delivering on this? You may need a coach is, are you getting by, but you really are ready to excel and thrive? It's funny because I was having a conversation or with someone this week on, are you your best you, or do you feel like you are doing your best and being the best you that you can be? And interestingly enough, the person wasn't. And it even made me think about, am I performing at my best? Can I do better? We all have those times or those periods where we may feel as though that we're not at our best, or we want to do better, or we can do something better. Then think about having a coach. It's not like thinking about having the coach meaning that you have some type of deficiency. And in some cases, maybe how you define it, it may be a deficiency, but your coach will help you pull out the best in you, put an action plan to that, and help you deliver. I can't tell you how many graduate students, and I get so much joy when I work with graduate students as they prepare to make the transition from that final year in writing up their thesis and defending and preparing for the job market. They know that there's something else that they can do. I mean, they may feel depleted from that end of the road graduate school experience, but it gives me a lot of joy and excitement when I'm able to work and coach with the graduate student or even the postdoc who's finishing up and making that transition to their next phase. It's one of those things where you can, how do I say it? How do I want to say? You know that you've read all of these things in books, you see people out there working, but you know that you need some help to help you make that last little step or that last little um, sew the last little piece together, put the last piece of the puzzle together so that it will be a perfect picture for your next phase in life. That's how, or that's one of the ways that coaching can help you. You may need a coach if, again, you're feeling overwhelmed. Perhaps you have moved into a new role or a new job or a new position, and it seems as though everything is coming at you from every different direction, and you may not feel equipped to handle this. Well, number one, I will say, if you got that position, you got that role, then there is something in you that says that yes, or someone believed in you enough that you can do it. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to do it alone. You may need help, you may need assistance, and that's where a coach can help you out. Um, Again, everyone, regardless of what level you're on, how long you've been doing a job, can use a coach. And the greatest example that we can think about are athletes. There are some incredibly talented athletes, naturally talented athletes, but they have coaches. Not only the coach if they're playing in organized sports, not only do they have the coach of their team, but many of them have personal coaches that help them work on a particular area. And so, if athletes or even your senior executives who are running Fortune 500 or Fortune 100 companies, if they utilize coaches to help them maintain or go to the next level, then why can't you or why should you? You think about the benefits of coaching. Several surveys have gone out. People are always responding, well, what are some of the benefits or testimonials that people give as to what coaching has done for them and why? There was one study that was out, I can't remember right off the top of my head, but I do remember this stat, but 68% of the people that had gone through a coaching experience or coaching engagement felt as though coaching helped them to have a higher awareness. And awareness, that self awareness or a higher self awareness, can do miracles for you as you're working through your job. Because when you become aware of things, you're more alert, you're more sensitive to certain areas, whether they be sensitive to your areas of development or sensitive to the needs of others. Coaching can help you do that. Coaching helps you to always evaluate things from at least two different perspectives, yours and perhaps seeing it from someone else's perspective. So that's a benefit. Coaching helps you to have improved clarity around your personal as well as, and most likely, your professional goals. What's your vision? What's your mission? Sometimes it's not a matter of you don't have one. Sometimes you need someone that can spend that one on one time with you to help pull it out, to help craft, to get your ideas together about what your mission is or what your vision is for your professional career. That's what coaching can help you do. So, again, I have to keep reiterating that whether you are a graduate student, whether you are a postdoctoral student, whether you are just starting out on your job, whether you are someone who is moving up or being promoted, you've been on the job forever. It doesn't matter what position you're in or where you are, everyone can benefit from coaches. And like I say, coaches even need coaches. I have a coach. I have someone who helps me with my professional development and making sure that I'm my best me so that I can better help and be the best coach for my clients, coach or consultant for my clients. Coaching helps people have an enhanced sense of confidence as well as leadership presence. Coaching helps you increase your intra yourself as well as your interpersonal relationships and your awareness or your effectiveness. When we talk about intra personal awareness, what's your style? How are people perceiving you? We talk a bit about personal branding. When you see me, what comes to mind? What do you think about me when you see me? What type of person or what are my past performance or what is my past performance record? Interpersonal relationships. How do I interact with other people? Is it something about me that I'm not aware of that perhaps rubs people the wrong way, unintentionally or unconsciously? And that may be something that's causing me great angst. Relationship between my supervisor, my manager, my advisor, things just not going correctly, not understanding why. Maybe it's something that you have to take a closer look at for your inter and intrapersonal effectiveness. You want to develop a new skill. Coaches can also help out in that aspect. Yes, you are ready to go to that next level, but you need to work a little bit more on your writing, or you need to work a little bit more on your presentation skills. You're super duper smart, you're super knowledgeable about this area, but how you present it is a new skill that perhaps you need to work on. And coaches help you in that area as well. And lastly, one of the benefits of coaching, it really can help you enhance your thinking or your decision making skills. The more frequently you work with your coach one on one, you do start to think differently in your decision making skills, and perhaps even more critical thinking, because your coach will always challenge you. Your coach asks you questions and has you thinking about how would you do this, how would you do that. And when that happens in your coaching sessions, it's fine and it may be a little painful at times, but when you have to apply those to real life situations, they become second nature. I can't tell you how many times I've had clients come back to a session and say, you know what, I didn't like doing it when we were having our sessions, but I was able to apply it at this situation at work and it was amazing. And I did it and didn't even realize what was going on. That's because of the relationship. It's almost like the practicing with the athletes. The more you do it, the more your coach is there to help you. When you have to apply it in real life, real time situations, it's very easy, pain pain free, and second nature, natural. So let's talk about, in our last couple of minutes, let's talk about how do you choose a coach, what's next, and what does the coaching process entail? Well, first and foremost, you've got to assess your readiness for coaching. It doesn't matter how much you research a coach. You may even sign up and sign a contract. If you're not ready for a coach, if you're not ready to receive, ready to accept that there may be some things about you that you don't like, then you have to make sure that you're ready to make a change. That change has to start in you. So that's the first step, assessing your readiness for coaching. The second thing is educate yourself about what coaching is. And as you joined in on this webinar today, or if you're listening to it on the rebroadcast, it's a very good first step. You're starting to understand a bit more about what coaching is and debunking some of the myths about what coaching is not. Coaching is for everyone, it's not just for those who are in senior level or executive positions. Get some referrals, talk to your friends. If you're on social media, there are plenty of people that talk about coaches, and kind of follow them and see what it is that they're talking about, and does anything that they say speak to you. After you do that, get some referrals. You can even call up the coach or interact with them and say, hey, I have some questions. I'd like to sit down and interview you, because one of the most critical things about selecting a coach is making sure that you're comfortable with that person and that there is a fit. Every coach is not for everyone. I'm quite clear on that. I'm not the coach for everyone. It's not saying that I'm not good. It's not saying that I'm not confident or comfortable in my skills. But what it does say is there are just some personalities that aren't the best fit for coaching styles. And so, that being said, that's why you have to interview or talk to a few coaches. Get the referrals from your friends or trusted people who you think would give a good judgment on what your coaching, or what this person's, or what this coach's style may be. See, I told you it's live, and on live, there are no retakes, there's no cut and slicing things back together. Do some web searches. Go online, and what type of coach is it that you need? Type it in. But I will caution you on web searches and just finding someone for the web. I would also back that up and ask for personal references, or if you know someone that has gone through this process, because as we all know with the internet, there are plenty of businesses and people that have popped up and are self-proclaimed experts in an area. You want to make sure that your coach is credible. You want to make sure that your coach is experienced in the area in which you seek help. There's For some people, certifications matter. For some people, experience matters more. You have to decide what matters most to you. If it matters that someone has a list of credentials and letters behind their name versus someone who has years of experience in this particular area, experience in coaching people, experience in managing people, just work experience, period. Those are things that you'll have to decide what matters for you and how it can best meet your needs. The process of coaching, you will once you have decided upon your coach, this is a typical process. It does and may vary from coach to coach, but you'll meet. Your first meeting, you will decide what are your goals for this particular engagement. And you have to decide again upon the frequency. Do you want to meet once a month? Do you want to meet biweekly for an hour? Do you want to meet every week for half an hour? All of those are things that you'll decide on the front end with your coach. What's your objective? What do you want to accomplish? And how often you'll meet. After you've made those things clear and decided upon, you'll create a plan of action and you start. Now, the final question: how much does it cost? How much does it cost? Think about coaching as an investment in you. And so, just like any investment or anything that you will buy, the cost will vary. It's classified, and this is one thing you always can remember if you are doing individually or self funded coaching. It is a professional development expense, and part or all may be able to be written off on your taxes as a tax deductible contribution for your professional development. You always have to seek with your financial advisor or whoever does your taxes or accountant to see if you can, how much you can deduct as an expense or out of pocket expense for professional development. Coaching depends on several factors, as I mentioned: how long the engagement will be, how often you'll meet, or the type of consulting. Is it going to require a lot of intensive research, or is it something that we can do on the spot? So here we go. Drum roll. The number. That's what everyone wants to know. Again, the number varies. So it can range anywhere from $100 an hour all the way up to $500 plus an hour, depending upon the engagement, depending upon what it is that you want. There's a huge return on investment. It's an investment in your development. So you also have to determine what it's worth. Know your value, know your worth. We talk about engagements from $100 to $500 an hour or to over $10,000 a month in coaching. It depends. Time is very valuable to some people. And if I can hire a consultant or someone that can help me get up to speed extremely fast, then it would be worth that $10,000, especially if I'm a senior level exec and I need this information immediately. But if I'm a graduate student or if I'm a postdoc, it may sound like, oh my gosh, 150, 100, $200 an hour. I can't afford that. Well, let's think about it. It's an investment in you. And you also have to think about what's important to you and what are you willing to sacrifice to get this done. It's not something that you may have to do always, but $150 an hour, $150 a month, what does that mean? Is it a couple of Starbucks? Is it foregoing a concert or maybe a new outfit? Again, these are things that you talk with your coach on the front end, and you can work all of those things out. Never let finances, however, stop you from seeking help. If your coach is not able to help you, they may be able to refer you to other resources that can assist you if you aren't able to financially afford it at this time. So that's it in a nutshell. We've spent in half an hour not talking about a specific skill set, but we've talked about coaching, what it is, why it can benefit you, or why you would need one, the process, and how much it costs. So, if you have any questions or if you want to follow up on the coaching, I invite you to contact me. You can always get in touch with me via email, a direct email, mqualls@entropiaconsulting.com. Visit my website, follow me on Twitter, or give me a call, 202-455-0426. This has been great. I'm very excited to start off the third quarter with the Lunchtime Learning, talking about what it is that we do: professional development consulting, professional development coaching. Until next time, next week, next month. Our webinar will be on transferable skills. So please join in and learn about what 3 key transferable skills we all need to work on. Until then, have a great day. Bye bye. Thanks for joining in.